Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind, Yuval, Noah Harari. Imagine you're holding a smooth stone tool in your hands, feeling its weight and the precision of its edges. This simple object, crafted by human hands tens of thousands of years ago, represents something far more profound than mere utility. It whispers of a moment when our species crossed an invisible threshold, when we began to reshape not just stone, but reality itself through the power of shared imagination. What transformed a handful of African primates into the dominant force on Earth, capable of both breathtaking creativity and devastating destruction. The story of humanity, as Yuval Noah Harari unveils it, is not merely a chronicle of biological evolution or technological progress. It is the tale of three great revolutions that fundamentally rewired the fabric of existence on this planet. The cognitive revolution taught us to believe in shared fictions. The agricultural revolution bound us to the land and to each other in ways we never anticipated. The scientific revolution unleashed forces that continue to reshape our understanding of what it means to be human. Each transformation carried within it the seeds of unprecedented cooperation and unforeseen consequences, raising urgent questions about where we're heading and whether we're prepared for the journey. You begin to see that the first great turning point in human history was not the discovery of fire or the invention of tools, but something far more elusive: the emergence of our ability to create and believe in shared stories. Around 70,000 years ago, something remarkable happened in the neural pathways of Homo sapiens. We developed the capacity to speak not just about the tangible world around us, but about things that existed only in our collective imagination. This cognitive revolution was like discovering a new dimension of reality, one where invisible forces could move mountains and fictional entities could command the loyalty of millions. Consider how this transformation echoes through your daily life. The money in your wallet, the nation you call home, the company you work for, none of these exist in the physical world in the way a tree or a river does. They are elaborate shared fictions, stories we tell ourselves and agree to believe. Yet these invisible constructs shape your choices, your relationships, and even your dreams more powerfully than many tangible realities. Harari reveals how this ability to create what he calls intersubjective reality allowed small bands of humans to cooperate in groups of thousands, then millions, eventually dominating every other species on Earth. The second revolution began innocuously enough, with the simple act of planting seeds and waiting for them to grow. Yet the agricultural revolution, which unfolded around 10,000 years ago, was perhaps the most consequential trap our species ever set for itself. You might imagine this transition as humanity's great liberation from the uncertainties of hunting and gathering. But Harari presents a more complex picture. While agriculture provided food security and enabled population growth, it also chained us to the land, created rigid social hierarchies, and arguably diminished the quality of life for the average person. The wheat we thought we were domesticating was, in a very real sense, domesticating us. This paradox of progress continues to haunt our modern world. You live in the wake of countless innovations that promised to free you, but instead created new forms of dependence. Your smartphone connects you to infinite information while potentially fragmenting your attention. Your career provides economic security while perhaps constraining your autonomy. The same pattern that Harari identifies in the agricultural revolution, where short-term benefits create long-term complications, seems woven into the very fabric of human advancement. The third transformation, the scientific revolution, emerged from a profound shift in how we approach the unknown. Rather than claiming certainty about the mysteries of existence, science embraced ignorance as a starting point. This willingness to say, "we don't know," became the foundation for an explosion of knowledge that continues to accelerate. You witness its effects every day. In the medicine that extends life, the technology that shrinks distances, and the discoveries that expand the boundaries of the possible. Yet this revolution too carries its shadows. The same scientific thinking that cures diseases also creates weapons of unprecedented destruction. The technologies that connect us globally also threaten our privacy and autonomy. The knowledge that promises to unlock the secrets of consciousness might ultimately challenge the very foundations of what we consider human. Harari's insight illuminates a crucial tension. Our growing power over the natural world has not been matched by wisdom about how to use that power responsibly. As you reflect on these three revolutions, a deeper pattern emerges. Each transformation granted humanity extraordinary, new capabilities, while simultaneously creating unforeseen vulnerabilities. The cognitive revolution gave us cooperation at the cost of making us dependent on shared illusions. The agricultural revolution provided security while constraining freedom. The scientific revolution offered unprecedented power while removing many traditional sources of meaning. This pattern suggests that progress is not a simple upward trajectory, but a complex dance between liberation and limitation. Perhaps most unsettling is Harari's observation that we may be on the verge of a fourth revolution, one that could transform not just human society, but human nature itself. Advances in biotechnology, artificial intelligence, and genetic engineering are beginning to give us the power to redesign the very foundations of our existence. You live at a moment when humanity might transcend the biological and cognitive constraints that have defined our species for millennia. Yet if the pattern holds, these new powers will likely come with costs we cannot yet imagine. The key insight emerging from this vast sweep of history is both humbling and empowering. You are not simply the product of inevitable progress, but the inheritor of countless choices made by previous generations as they navigated the consequences of their own revolutions. The stories that shape your world, about money, nations, corporations, and even individual identity, are neither natural nor permanent. They are human creations, which means they can be reimagined and restructured. This realization carries with it a profound responsibility. Standing at the threshold of potentially the most transformative period in human history, you face the question of what stories you want to help write for the future. How do you ensure that the next revolution serves human flourishing rather than merely expanding human power? How do you prepare for changes that might challenge the very foundations of what it means to be human? As you settle into stillness, let these questions rest gently in your awareness. The story of humanity is not a finished tale, but an ongoing creation, and your choices, however small they might seem, are part of its unfolding. The same capacity for imagination that launched our species on its extraordinary journey remains alive within you, ready to envision new possibilities for what we might become. In the quiet spaces between heartbeats, between thoughts, between the weight of what we've been and the lightness of what we might yet be, the future is still being written.